Hi guys, welcome back to the Improvement Season podcast. It is me, Steve Hall, and as always on the other end is Mike Chalice. Magic Mike, how's it going, Mike?
It's going pretty good, Steve. Yeah, I've got a new light set up over here, and it feels very revealing, like almost aggressive. Like I feel very pale under its light.
Can you dim it? Is it as bright as it goes?
It's as bright as it goes, so we could dim it a little bit. So
You can have a play around in future to see what settings look best on you. This is the place you get to with social media content and podcasts being video platformed. And I was just thinking, interestingly enough, I'm part of Terence Ruffin's broadcast group, and he actually posts very regularly in there. And what I noticed is he calls his off season an improvement season. And I don't know who first coined improvement season, but I don't think there's any other social media content with as many pieces of content as us referring to something as the improvement season, considering we all know like coming towards like 500 episodes or something of this. So I'm going to say, hey, we coined it.
I think so, and I think there's
popularized it.
Yeah, you could say it was semantics, but I like the idea of, because it is an improvement season. You're not off in the sense of, oh, switch off, not doing anything. It's like, no, we are consciously trying to get better. So I think it's accurate.
Yeah, you don't call your comp prep on season, do you? So I don't know why off season is a thing, really, because it kind of gives the wrong connotation, and we're all about that dimmer switch, which you were just playing around with.
Indeed.
But you're good.
Yeah, all good. I think this week again it's been a growth week, shall we say, for me, because I would say that since I judged at the Halloween gala, I've just struggled to get on top of my sleep or to get in a consistent rhythm with that. And it's been frustrating because it's kind of like I haven't met the standards that I would like. And then you get in this bit vicious cycle of you beat yourself up because you haven't met the standards that you hold yourself to. And I hold myself to a high standard. And yeah, so I think that was kind of tough. And then what I've also had is the shoulder again has had a bit of an aggy week again, which isn't ideal. And just those two things combined, it was just a bit like, but do you know what? Again, with these things, you've just got to accept it and keep moving forwards. So that's what we're doing. And we'll only get better from here.
It kind of reminds me of, when people apologize for something, they like say sorry, but they don't mean it because they've said sorry about the same thing before. It's like if you are truly sorry, you wouldn't repeat this action. So it's kind of similar here. Like if you truly held yourself to a high standard, you'd start like doing it. So there's no point beating yourself up about it. It's just a case of, okay, let's rectify this. How do I do that? Which, obviously we had a back and forth, and I was like, okay, what actions are you going to take? You outlined 3 actions that you're going to take this week to kind of get it in check. So that was great. And I guess actually it's an opportunity for me to ask, how's it been going?
Well, do you know what? I put it into practice last night because I finished work a bit late and I didn't have, it was 7 o'clock and I hadn't replied to a message on Hinge. And I just said, look, I'm really sorry, but I'll reply to this tomorrow. And they sent me a message back and they're like, oh, that's totally cool. I know some of these messages take a long time to reply back to, etc. And I was like, so this big thing that I had this pressure I put on myself to try and reply was totally fine, So yeah, I put that into practice last night, which was good.
It's funny you do that. I haven't obviously been on Hinge for ever, actually. But in a similar instance, I do it with friends, but particularly competitors. Sometimes they'll message me and I'll be like, hey, I've seen this, but for whatever reason, I'm in a situation where I cannot reply just now. So I reply to them just being like, because you've been in prep, right? And you've messaged me before, so you want an immediate answer if possible, but you don't expect it, of course. I always just message them and be like, I've seen this. I'll get back to you as soon as I can and maybe give an idea of when. And yeah, it's just a relief. And it's funny, it's like you said, they don't expect it. If you replied the next day, well, in comp prep, not they're there. But if you, in your instance, if you replied the next day, they'd be like, and you were like, hey, sorry, I was real busy yesterday, finished work late. They'd be like, totally cool. You've got a life. Makes sense. But we put pressure on ourselves because we are that, I guess it comes back to that people pleasing nature that we have.
Yeah, but almost, do you know what? I think just that knowing of like, hey, I've seen it, I want to get back to you ASAP, that really helps for whatever reason. I don't know what it's just understanding like, hey, like you said, I've seen it, and I'm going to get back to you ASAP. My one of my friends at the physio clinic, she recently had umbilical hernia repair, and they hadn't told her exactly what they had done from a surgical perspective. So she had asked, "Oh, can you send me the op notes and tell me kind of exactly what you've done, because I'd really like to know it for my rehab and my recovery." And the surgeon didn't get back to her at all. And she was like, and they said, "I'm going to call you on this day," but they didn't do that. And sometimes I just said, sometimes knowing that, one, they've seen your message and they're going to get back to you at a certain date, but also two, that they actually follow through with it. It's just those basic things that can just take a whole load of stress and anxiety off of you.
Yeah, setting expectations. So, like, as an example, talk about coaching. I know I have it with clients where I say, check in this day. I'll get back to you latest this day. So they know they don't need to chase or expect anything until that day. And if I haven't got back to them, then they definitely need to chase because something's gone badly wrong on my end.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen. I normally get back to them before that time. But they know if they send it in and it hasn't been that time, they know it's going to come and they have that kind of assurance. It's the worst, though, when in those scenarios, and you exactly kind of gave that example of when you suggest you're going to get back at that time and you're waiting, and it never comes. And you're just like, it can be anxiety producing if you're in quite a, like the period of time she was in, or I think about competitors like post-show and their coach just leaves them and doesn't help them, guide them through that post-show recovery phase. And you need that kind of person in your corner. So I totally get that. Mike, on the subject of Hinge and dating, so if you prefer Hinge, is that your chosen platform now, or are you still going between?
It's what I've definitely leaned more towards Hinge. Bumble has kind of gone, quiet, shall we say. I haven't invested as much time in Bumble.
Are you? And I'm hoping for a certain answer here, but I think I'm going to get a different answer. Are you talking to more than one girl at the moment? Okay, you are. Okay, good. Okay, I was hoping you were talking to more than one girl.
It was getting a bit overwhelming at one stage, to be fair, for me at least, because there was conversations. There is one person that I'm consistently communicating. Let's just put it that way,
Okay.
and then others are a bit kind of like hit and miss at the moment, which I think is to be expected.
When are you going for a coffee?
This Sunday.
Oh, you are? Yes, my man. This is what I was hoping. You have not disappointed me, Mike. What am I, your, what's it called? Your person in your corner, your right-hand man. No, what's it called? There's a name for it. It's one of those occasions again, like
Your
triage. Wingman, that's the one.
There you go, the wingman.
Yeah, I could be your wingman there. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Where are you going?
It's this place called Love Coffee Co. in the centre of Oxford. So,
nice.
And it looks legit nice.
I'm not going to ask you what time now, because otherwise so actually, no, this comes out on Monday, so it will have happened by that point. So that's okay.
To be fair, she's not involved in bodybuilding like whatsoever. So I
just mean someone else might turn up. They're like, okay, I'm going to come.
Can you imagine if someone came up and was like, I listened to the podcast, Mike? Not that would happen.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bit laissez-faire with those sort of things, where I'm sure I've uploaded my address before. Like I've got a package and I'm like doing an unboxing, and someone's messaged me being like, hey, if I zoom in and pause it at this specific moment, I can see your address. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I need to be probably a bit better about that. But I feel like if you Googled, you could probably find out where I live if you wanted to. I shouldn't say that, should I? You won't. I am not in London. I've moved to Manchester. That's the news.
Yeah.
Office looks the same. I'm excited for you, Mike.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's a nice place. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Yeah, it's just don't put too much pressuring yourself. But it's nice you can go for a coffee. And I remember all my first dates back then were just always alcohol based. So it's nice that obviously, well, I guess you might drink. You're not like teetotal, officially
No,
teetotal, like a vegan's officially vegan. You're more like, hey, I'm plant based, or
Mm,
like I
yeah,
generally don't drink. Yeah.
exactly. So, but yeah, coffee's good because then it's not like, yeah. If it was like a wine bar or something, I'd be a little bit like, oh, I'll have
Bit
a
out of
glass,
comfort.
but then I'll be a bit out of my out of my comfort zone as such. But yeah, so this is a nice place. It'll be good vibes.
So at least, yeah, like you said, with the sleep and with the training kind of not being great, but silver linings on the
Yeah.
dating front, well, at least that's going ahead. So that's some life gains for sure, which is excellent.
Yeah, definitely. So it's improvement season in lots of
Yeah.
different ways.
Yes. Yeah, I feel you on the frustration. Obviously, mine's not the same, but the frustration with the shoulder. I wonder if this sounds somewhat familiar for you. I've had the patella tendonitis, as you know, for a while, and
Mm,
it's never fully gone, like you said to me a while ago. Like tendons take a long time to recover, so it can be quite a not nasty, but it can be a bit of a chronic thing.
wow.
Thankfully, touch wood, my elbows haven't had tendonitis in those for a long time. Like it's not
Mm,
even been a thing, and that kind of they're just. I don't remember there being a distinct moment of it's gone. It was a case of it just slowly went and hasn't reared its ugly head. So I was kind of hoping the same for my knees. But I think a combination of, because of whatever hip flexor strain thing I've got going on, has meant that I've had to do certain exercises, which have then put more pressure on my knees, like sissy squats and particularly hack sissy squats, a bit more pressure in that bottom position. That, yeah, they flared up. And then like my hip flexors, it's maintaining. It's not getting worse, but it's not getting better. And I'm slowly finding things or ways to train around it that are causing it to seem like it's flaring up less. So, for example, I
oh, good.
removed the straight deadlift off the floor, started doing that from the rack. So basically doing an RDL. Like
Mm,
they're almost the same, but actually I've cut a bit of the range of motion on that because it seemed like that really deep hip flex position at the floor or deep, like near the bottom, was the problem. So I've just cut the range of motion there a little bit. So, but yeah, my frustration is the initially was, hey, it's great. I can work with this strain and with my knees and still get stimulus, still see results. But now I'm like, ah, they're not. It's not going away. It's like, and sometimes they flare up a little bit, and it's just, I just want to feel fit and healthy and
mm.
resilient in that area. But yeah, so I think it's probably a similar thing for you.
Oh, totally. And I feel you on that as well. Um, it's just tough. It's the knees can be really persistent, like you said. It's like you said, you find these little wins to how to work around it, but it's still frustrating. Like you said, you just want it to be gone so you can just have nothing in your head that is limiting you in any way, like no distractions as such.
Yeah,
But we'll get there. We'll slowly figure it out.
yeah. It's the I guess actually this is a question I would put towards you, Mike. Or how can I rephrase this? What red flags or what signs and symptoms would you be looking at for me to be exhibiting to be concerned that I was doing myself damage and like I could cause myself, I don't know, like a meniscus tear? But I'm not saying that's specific to here,
Yeah.
but I don't know, I've heard of people working through things and so that they've ended up tearing something. What kind of red flags might there be that I should be aware of or someone should be aware of?
So the obvious first one would be pain, of course. Like if you were finding pain was increasing. The second thing, the other things would be, are you noticing more stiffness in the knee, where you're just either waking up in the morning or just in general, like it just feels really stiff and you're having to just warm it up more. The third thing would be swelling. So is the knee now starting to look puffy? That wouldn't that would be a key thing that we're looking out for. And then are you noticing any mechanical signs or symptoms? And what I mean by that is the knee locking in a particular position? So if you're bending or straightening the knee and it just kind of like jars or locks in place, that would definitely be an indicator for like something else, like a meniscus type injury, or giving way. So again, does the knee just kind of give a little bit? And again, is now performance starting to tank a little bit? Are you finding that either in one particular leg or both? Like, there is no other reason why your performance is going down, but it's just you're not strong in those lifts. And that could be just general muscle inhibition from the injury, from pain, swelling, etc. So those are all the red flags where if they are starting to become more apparent, I'd be like, right, let's just pause things a little bit and address these things properly.
At least, definitely for my knee, just the pain is the symptom. There's no other red flags in regards to what you mentioned. For the hip, for the strain that we don't know what it is, that one I'm really like, it's bothering me because I don't know what it is. And at least with the knees, I know if I backed off like various movements, they definitely start feeling better, like less knee flexion basically. But with the hip flexor thing, it just doesn't seem obvious to why it's being upset. And it may be, I guess I'm in my head, what's happening is I've strained it and I keep slightly kind of aggravating it, like poking the bear every time I train, where it's kind of getting a bit better, but not better. So in my head, at least, it might need just fully deloading at some point. And I actually said this to someone in the gym. I was like, I'm being very stubborn here, just like trying to find ways to work around it, because the muscles are fine. Like, they're absolutely fine. I can still perform. They feel good. It's just the surrounding tissues, which is part, like, obviously it's just me being stubborn and wanting to push the volumes and intensity. I said I'm basically waiting for like a holiday to take a break to like force me to deload. So I need to talk to Sean and be like, when can we get away?
yeah.
To make sure I can't get to the gym.
Do you know what scenarios? Injury scenarios, trade-offs are a real thing in terms of, so if you had someone who was playing sport like football or something, they might have an injury which isn't like severe enough for them to not black and white play a sport, but maybe it's the cup final, or maybe it's just a really important season for them. And actually, hey, sure, we could rest and the problem could resolve, but actually you're a really important player and we need you this season. So we're just going to accept the fact that, hey, we're not going to risk your health, but we're just going to patch you up over the course of the season so that when the season is over, we can, we'll address it then, kind of thing. It's kind of that situation in a way.
It actually is a really good analogy. I love that, because for me, if it was something related to like my arms or calves or somewhere else, less important to me as a bodybuilder and to be as competitive as possible. But it's my quads. It's like quite literally the muscle that is probably most important to, not the most, I would say, one of the more important muscles for sure. So yeah, at least when I try and give perspective, it's like, at least it's just there, and it's not like my shoulders are fine, like and that's an area that needs to improve, like my delt. So I guess it's similar to you, where it's like, at least it's just your shoulder and not your knees as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, ah. But no, I mean, and that's the thing. The most important thing with you right now is like, it's not getting worse. Like, we are in a really just hold zone with it. So as long as it's not getting worse, we'll just wait for a holiday and then we'll go from there.
And it's like my other lifts are progressing. I said this last time, that I thought I'd have to rotate some things soon. I have rotated out my hack squat because it was probably the lift that was causing my knees the most discomfort. I put in belt squats, which felt great, apart from, God, the belt just rubs on my groin, especially when you try and have a closer stance. It's just like, I'm going to have to probably have a wider stance and see if I can work. I'm just going to get some more adductor stimulus. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, that otherwise felt great. And I hit some really good numbers on that, considering I've not done it for a long, long time. But I might invest into a better squat belt, squat belt for the gym, potentially, but have to see. Otherwise, yeah, nothing else.
You we kind of mentioned it briefly, but Ada was obviously really unwell yesterday, I think it was. So yes. That wasn't ideal.
Yeah, so I don't know if last time we chat, I think maybe it was the day after she just had her new chemo drug. Right. And yeah, this one, I mean, like all of them, to be honest, can cause gastro issues. So it was just strange in the morning after her breakfast. She was fine. And then she was just like shaking, like just constantly shaking her whole body and just looking up at me like hopeless. and helpless and
Mm.
looking for me to do something. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. And then she just started making noises of like she was uncomfortable. So she was
Mm.
kind of whining, and her kind of chest was getting very bloated, to put it in those terms. And she was drinking a ton of water. Like I could just hear her going for like another drink. So I was just trying to kind of calm her down and everything. And it just became apparent I needed to take her to
Mm.
the vets and get her seen. As I called our oncologist, the oncologist team, and I told them that I'm probably going to go to the vets. And as I was like getting ready to take her out, she then was just suddenly sick at the front door. And
Oh.
so much water just came out. So she was obviously just listening to her body, and like she was drinking to try and like cause some sick, I guess, for
Mm.
whatever reason, because the body's just fighting something.
Mm.
So anyway, then I had to clear all of that up, which took quite a while actually because it was everywhere. She's also had diarrhea, of course, the past few days, and
Poor thing.
unfortunately, yeah, exactly. When I left her, I don't know what day it was, but I go to the gym. I'm maybe out of the house for 2 hours, and she had been like, she did diarrhea like on the front door, and because she was like waiting there as if someone was going to come
Mm.
and let her out, and obviously no one's around. It's heartbreaking actually, and the amount of discomfort she must feel like doing it indoors when she knows she shouldn't as well. But anyway, went to the vets, had her bloods drawn, got like a temperature, everything. She seems okay. And actually, just the vets called me like an hour ago. And for whatever reason, Mike, in this office, I have no reception. So it always goes to voicemail. So I basically went downstairs, called them, and they were like, oh, the vet's busy. So I was like, hey, just email me over the results and
Mhm.
that'll be fine. And really, I don't need the results. The oncology team need them, but they're
Mhm.
checking like a bone marrow and stuff like that because that can become a problem. So yeah, at this point, it's kind of like the saying is for every gimme, there's a gotcha, right? It's like the chemo's helping fight off the cancer cells, but then that chemo is causing problems elsewhere. But today, as I mentioned off air, I
Mm.
think to you, she's doing much better. So
So good.
yeah, she's being a bit. You basically know as soon as her appetite starts going, because you know what
Mm.
she's like. She's super food focused. She
Mhm.
loves eating everything and anything. As soon as she loses her appetite, you know something is quite bad. But yeah, it was horrible. Just in the morning, I just had this sense of, and I hate saying it, but I was like, this could be it. And
Mm.
I said to Charlotte, I actually don't know how I'm going to deal with that, first of all, but also I don't know what to expect. Like, is she actually just going to dwindle? Is it going to be like just slowly we're going to see her fade? Or is it going to be a case like this, an emergency where it's like she's like, yeah, she's in
Mm.
a bad place and we're going to have to like euthanize her in that sense. So,
Mm.
oh, someone messaged me on Instagram. This was really hard to actually think about. Was he said he euthanized his cat, and like he had his cat in his arms, and like he was looking his cat in the eye as it passed, and he said that memory kind of, I don't know if he used the term haunts him, but just thinking about that is so crushing to like
Mm.
see her eyes and just suddenly close and never open again. Like I can't even, yeah, I can't. It's horrible. But she's done really well to get to this point, and I think I said last time, hopefully she gets to Christmas.
Yeah. I was wondering this. Do you think the fact that she is still quite young, that thing that goes in her favor, do you think?
I'd have thought so. She'd be more resilient to everything, for
Mm.
sure. Just because, yeah, cancer treatments can be really hard on the immune system, and
Mm.
then you can get sick, and that can cause you problems or infections and everything. So I definitely think she's dealing it better due to being younger, but I wouldn't wish this upon her at just 7 years old. But yeah,
No.
that's the update on Ada, at least. So yeah, that ended up taking like 2 hours out of my morning, which was a bit of a stress, but it's all right.
And it's certain again, like yeah, you just got to be so adaptable and resilient yourself. Because again, that's stressful knowing not only have you got the stress of Ada, like having to help her, but it's the stress of 2 hours plus out of your schedule where you should be maybe working or doing something else. And it's like, I've got to squeeze this in somewhere. And you've just got to take a breath. Right. What can I just do in this moment? And, move
Yeah.
forwards from there.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it was actually a bit of a reminder of like, whilst bodybuilding is a massive priority, like Ada, family, work all comes before it.
Mm.
And I would put probably that's my kind of ordering would be like family, like friends, number one, like Ada, number
Yeah.
two, and then it would be, or Ada number two, and then work, and then it would be bodybuilding. So, but I think from the outside in, and sometimes I may even think it myself, like bodybuilding is number one. It's like, actually, it's not. It's probably number
Mhm.
three, realistically.
Yeah. And because the people that care about you, they love you no matter what. Like they don't care if you're fucking massive or if you're just Steve, you know? So they're always going to be there for you. And it's like the pressure that we put on ourselves for bodybuilding, it's like that is just our own personal pressures. That's our own personal goals of progress in a way, you know? But
Yeah,
whether we're that or whether we are like, I don't know what that was supposed to be, but yeah, then they're still going to love us and be there.
yeah, yeah. I think, and it's just important if like bodybuilding is ever taken away from you, what do you have
Yeah.
to fall back on? And you need other things in your corner. So yeah, definitely don't put. It's a huge, massive priority for me. I know it's the same for you. So much so that I'm risking kind of this injury on my leg, right? But
Hmm.
it's not to the point where I'm willing to sacrifice other more important things in life. Which, yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? But I think sometimes we don't even necessarily appreciate it. But I thought about it just like you said. I was like, oh man, this is 2 hours out of my day. I'd normally be training now. And I was like, hey, there's number one. Just chill out
Yeah.
and deal with this here and now.
Yeah, exactly. This is a bit of a tangent, but this is why I sometimes think, do you think in terms of disabled competitions and, you know, people who bodybuild, so I'm just thinking of, I remember seeing a magazine of a guy who was in a wheelchair, but he still competed. He had like, you know, like a six pack and he was just competing, but he was just in a wheelchair. And do you think that maybe this is an avenue which should maybe try to be developed a little bit more in bodybuilding, kind of more of like a disabled type of category? I don't know what the right PC term would be for it, would be called.
I don't know who it is. I think it might be is it the MPA that actually, because you'll know better than me, didn't they have or it
Maybe.
might be the BMBF. There's definitely a natural bodybuilding federation in the UK that have, and I don't think they called it like disabled. I think they called it like, I can't remember, something like enabled or something like that,
Uh-huh.
um, as a positive spin on it. And obviously, I've seen kind of people who are, I don't know, amputees or whatever, like even enhanced and like on stages. And I don't
Mm.
know if there's a specific category that they're competing in or if they're in like an open class. But yeah, I'm almost certain it's the MPA that have a category for even people with neurological diseases that decide to compete and things like that. But
Mm.
yeah, it's hard to get that to become mainstream.
Mm.
Um, I can't think of a good PG analogy for it, but obviously there's only so much demand for natural bodybuilding as it is, let alone then that. Very inspiring and awesome, and I love that and I would like to platform them and have somewhere that they can like be competitive and do this sort of thing. But it's challenging. Yeah,
Yeah. My
in a
mind just,
perfect world, yeah.
yeah. It, they even, because did you know in the Olympics, they obviously have, you know, the Paralympics and they have what's called classifications. Have you heard of that? So it's how so they've got different classifications of Paralympic athletes. So depending on, they'll have assessment
The
criteria.
severity or
Exactly. So it's just making sure that people are on a similar playing field with regards to the severity of their disability. And yeah, and again, my head just goes into that again, that could be something that's possible. But yeah, it probably, yeah, unlikely slash a long way in the distant future.
yeah, I guess it would also, it's demand and supply that would be the problem, I think, there in terms of even like the supply of athletes that are competing every year. Like, I don't know how many there would be, but also then the demand for it. But I guess it could be like you could do it I mean, the Olympics is every 4 years, right?
Hmm.
So it could be something like that where they do it every like few
Yeah,
years for these people. And then it would be a real event. I think that could work pretty well, actually. That could be quite cool
that
and
would
a
be
really
really cool.
nice idea. Yeah.
Because imagine like let's just call them Paralympic bodybuilders. Paralympic bodybuilders have them at WMBF Worlds every 4 years and do like a WMBF Worlds Paralympic categories. Like, that would be awesome. That'd be so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it would be really nice for those guys. Like, and there are some like legit, they look just as good, just
Yeah.
without those bits sometimes. Like, you're just like, wow, like that's incredible.
Yeah, like imagine if you just say if you had like a leg amputee category, so people might just be in a wheelchair, but maybe their top half is okay, or maybe you have an arm amputee or whatever. It's like, yeah, just it'd be quite cool.
I wonder, I'm now thinking, what other categories could you have?
You could have
uh, let's
visually
not go.
disabled, maybe, or you could have like they do. So you have things like what's it called? Cerebral palsy. So you might have more
Yeah,
neurological conditions. It would just
deaf,
require a bit
blind.
more. Yeah, yeah. It just might require a bit of more administration because you might need, the backroom staff to do some kind of similar classification or whatever to kind of make sure everything was kind of fair and stuff. But yeah, that would be crazy. That'd be good.
Yeah, because the classifications are like clear, natural, and enhanced, right? The natural
Yeah.
guys, you just have, they're drug free based off this criteria. That's what makes them natural. So then, yeah, you'd have to like have your clear cutoffs for the classifications. Like you said, they must have that at the Paralympics. So, anyway, interesting. Any news on your end, Mike?
Well, the only news is just probably similar to yourself about the Muscle Mayhem this coming weekend.
Yes, and also the Wahala Pro
Oh, yes.
Germany last weekend.
I haven't seen the results. So
Oh,
filming
you
so
don't
you
know
might
any
have
of it?
no, I for whatever reason I've not had a great week in terms of staying up to date with stuff.
As I've said to you before, I am on social media far too much. And actually, so much so, sometimes I get down about it that I'm like, why have I got the time to spend time on here? Like, I could, and then I'm like, I should be doing something productive. And then I try and do something productive. And today I made, well, actually, this is such a random thing. For whatever reason, on my stories, I can only use royalty free music. I don't know why. Instagram is not allowing me to use other music. So then I logged out and I logged back in to see if it would come. And then I lost all my draft posts. And then I
Oh,
couldn't find, like, I didn't have the text and the captions and the information. And then I redid them all. And guess what?
having a game.
I didn't log out, but they all got deleted. For whatever reason, my Instagram's just being buggy. And I'm like, man, Instagram, already I spend too much time on you. And then I was being productive. And then you just deleted all my posts. So now
Um,
I'm just like, right, I'm backing them up on Apple Notes.
you must have felt like throwing your phone out the window.
Yeah, I might have made a bang somewhere, but I didn't break anything. But I had a little release. Basically, it was the toilet seat. I just like shoved it. What was I going to say?
We
Can't
were
even
talking
remember
about
what I was going.
Valhalla,
Oh,
and
yes. So Max,
did he win?
one word. Yeah, he took the whole thing. So
What?
I didn't realize last year he actually took it as well, but in men's physique,
Wow. Okay.
which is a bit of a, I don't know how people feel about that, but this is kind of breaking news. Had Chris Elkins, you know Chris Elkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Elkins and Josh Croggan on the podcast, to a men's physique roundtable we filmed 2 nights ago. We were talking about men's physique judging criteria, and kind of it was highlighted as a bit of a problem, or it's opinion, right? You could have the opinion that it's a problem. I think both of them were of that opinion, that if you're winning men's physique and then you're winning bodybuilding, are they not different enough? You know, if the same person's
Yeah.
winning both, it kind of calls into question, other categories different enough. And I have time for that.
Yeah.
We had it with Babacar, we talked about in terms of he probably wouldn't be placing as highly in classic because his posing, first of all, but also not many bodybuilders have this problem, but he's just so big for his frame that he doesn't look very classic. So it's just, anyway, that was, I digress. So Max won it.
But yeah,
Pro bodybuilding, that is, at least.
and I assume Max was an amateur for the physique category. Is that right? Last year? No,
I
he's
don't know when he
pro.
got his pro card, but he won the pro men's physique.
God,
Wahala. Yeah.
Gosh, so he's a pro men's physique and a pro men's bodybuilder.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, Max is the quintessential broad shoulders, massive delts.
Mm-hmm.
So I get why he's competitive in both, and I can see why he won both, and that meets the judging criteria. But obviously, I think you probably were aware of this year. I think it was 2023. The judging criteria changed a little bit for the WNBF with men's physique, where the term bodybuilder in board shorts has been one that I've heard thrown around. I don't know if I created that or someone else did. I feel like it was someone else, but it fits pretty well to what they're looking for. And you've seen bigger guys being rewarded now, so it kind of fits.
Yeah, and there'll always be problems with that to a certain degree, as we're probably starting to encounter. But yeah, maybe they're just not big enough problems yet for them to warrant any adjustments to the criteria.
Yeah. Obviously, it was adjusted that way, and the criteria are always, I think it was like bikini for a long time was like finding its feet and everything. So yeah, it'll find its feet. But that's really all I have to report on that German show. I didn't watch the live stream or anything. I'll keep super duper close to it. Andrew Chappelle, our guy from the UK, he came third there. That's his third place, right? He came third. Yeah, because I said Max has basically won everything, but not Babacar. Babacar beat him in the Swiss show.
So he's pretty. Yeah. Who came second at Valhalla?
I don't know the gentleman's name, so I can't say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't recognize him either, so I don't. Yeah, I'm not someone who's like big. I don't. I might actually. I don't even want to say that. I just don't know his name. I don't know.
I know that Stephen McLaughlin was competing. Do you know how he got on?
Stephen, is that?
No, Stuart. Sorry.
Oh, Stuart. Yeah, I was thinking. I was like,
sorry.
Yes. So he was in the pro, I guess, lightweights. I don't remember him placing, but I don't know the top 5. He certainly, I don't think, was in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw some photos of him. He looked shredded, as he always is.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's masters officially, like age-wise. So to be competitive in those lineups is inspirational. So really cool. And actually, I want to get Stuart on the podcast because I want to talk about some like bodybuilding history with him, which I think will be quite fun.
How long has he been competing for? Long time.
Yeah, a long time. I'm sometimes surprised. Chris Elkins turned pro in like 2000 I want to say 15, and he's a pro bodybuilder, which I didn't realize. I just thought he'd competed in bodybuilding and was an amateur, but I didn't realize he'd also got his pro card there.
Do you get this where sometimes people say 2015 and you think, oh, it wasn't too long away, and it's like, oh no, actually that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, wild. Completely. But yeah, so I didn't really see anything more from that show, so I can't comment too much. All I will say is that, again, on Andrew, best I've seen him. I saw some photos of him, and he looked very, very good. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Well done, Andrew.
Yeah, he has just got such a solid physique. It's just like tough to beat. So
it's one of those things. I don't think he has, like, talking about condition, I think we've said before, wasn't a strong suit of his. Like, he's very conditioned. It's just some people have that, I don't know what it is about their anatomy of how the muscles are shaped and on their physique, they just look crazy. Like Max has, like, his glutes are just crazy. I don't know if Andrew's can get like that. I don't know if mine can. Mine, I think, actually look more similar to Andrew's when I look at, like, it sounds weird, look at his glutes and like how it's shaped on his physique and everything. I don't know if they can be like all the way through like a Max and a Dirk, for example, or if they're just going to be more like outlined. I see this with chests sometimes. Some people get, and I have quite a striated chest where I have lines across it. I've seen people with really deep lines, and then I've seen people just with like big chests that aren't like deeply striated or anything. So it's just, I think it's kind of unfortunate. The glutes, if you have deeply striated glutes, they just catch the eye, and it's really hard. They're kind of a bit undeniable. Other muscle groups aren't as flashy for some reason.
I think you've got to be so balanced and grounded in your judging ability to not let that just automatically propel them to the top of your list. You've got to really just keep assessing the physique in a balanced way.
Yeah. for sure.
They
But yeah, the Muscle Mayhem you were saying.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to because I didn't see the names of the other competitors. Obviously, it'll be exciting to see Alberto compete for the first time. Obviously, Helms will be competing, but there was a couple of other guys that I didn't see the names for who I wasn't as familiar with.
Was there someone called Ed? Ba, 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 ba. I have his name available to me. Eddie Saldana was
Mm,
like. Are you referring to a post that Berto did where he went over and overviewed some of the competitors?
no, it was more the Natty
Okay.
News post that
Oh, that might have been based off Berto's post. I don't know, but Eddie anyway is coached by Cliff, and he's a very good bodybuilder, very good. But the
mm.
other guys look great. If you're a pro, man, like you are, just you're very very good. So yeah, I'm very excited to see Berto,
Yeah.
because it's been a little bit of time for him, and then him and Eric on the same stage is pretty special.
I mean, talking about what we were just talking about conditioning. I mean, Berto with some of the posts that he's been posting, it's just like paper thin skin. It feels like it's just like what? How are you looking like that? It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one too, because you look at his conditioning and you look at Eric's conditioning, and I think Eric is basically as lean as he should get,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have that paper skin, like, and that vascularity and that, I don't know, you'd almost call it muscle maturity type of look that
Mm,
Berto seems to have, at least in the images we've seen. It'll be interesting to see them on stage because obviously that's where it matters. But like, I don't know what that necessarily is down to. It's probably largely genetic.
mm,
So I've just seen, you do see those competitors that are just paper thin skin, and I don't know how you replicate such a look. It's not like Berto's done like a rapid backload peaking approach like Cliff would use, and you might be like, oh, maybe there's something to that. It's like, no,
mm.
he's just increased food gradually. It's like the physique just comes like that. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Would you say graininess to Berto's
Good word
physique?
for it.
Yeah, because it is just grainy. But
So
there you
that's
go.
exciting.
Mm.
And but yeah, other news. Was there anything else? No, I think that was my only bits that kind of came to mind. How are
Yeah.
you getting on with Demon Slayer? Have you finished season 1 yet?
Oh yeah. So have you? So season one's over. I've watched the Mugen Train movie when Rengoku dies, which was
Yeah.
really sad. I really wish he'd stayed alive. And now we're on. I'm probably halfway through season two, the Entertainment District.
Okay. Yeah. With
So
like, there's the Muscle Mouse and
yeah,
uh, is it
flashy.
Tengen?
I think it's
Flashy. Yeah.
Tengen with
Yeah.
some
Tengen.
flash.
So you like the Muscle Mouse and you like that humor. Okay, good. That was my least favorite season because I was just like, man, this is getting. I prefer the serious, like dark bits. I'm
Yeah.
not as the like really light humor. I'm not good with that. I'm like,
Well,
fuck, it takes
to
me
be
out of
yeah.
the episode and show a little bit.
I mean, it doesn't like. I'm not gonna say I enjoy it. Like, I'll be like, oh, okay, I can, hee hee ha ha kind of thing. But I do. I also prefer the more serious side of it as well.
Okay, cool.
But it's
Okay,
like, I'm not. It doesn't totally ruin it. It's also in small bits as well. It's not like it's the whole thing. So,
no, yeah, it
um,
didn't ruin it for sure.
so that's that was all right. What was I going to say? Do you know what I was thinking about this today, and it could be controversial, but Demon Slayer could quite possibly be my favorite anime out of everything I've watched so
Oh
far.
wow, really?
I'm liking it that much at the moment. I don't know whether
Mm.
I'm just in it. That,
Your new favorite is this every time it's the next one you will watch. Oh,
Yeah,
Naruto's my favorite. Oh, Hunter x Hunter's my favorite. Oh, Attack on Titan's my favorite.
I know.
You have to
So
take some time to like. And anyway, you don't need a favorite, do you? Really, they've all been great so far, which is solid.
yeah, I guess it is that shonen type. What storyline would you call it? Is shonen like the storyline or the type of
Shonen's
anime?
like centered around like a Goku or Tanjiro or Naruto. It's like that, uh, kind of in a challenged position, and they kind of make themselves to be something much more impressive than you'd expect, and they an underdog type of thing. Yeah,
Mm. I think it's just that I just connect with so much, and that I just
yeah.
enjoy watching. So, yeah, it's great.
Because Attack on Titan, you would say, is shonen to some extent because of the main character Eren, but it's not in the same way quite.
No.
For me, Attack on Titan, the storyline is just something that is just so different to everything else, and there's so many loops and swings, and it keeps you guessing. That for me, it ends up being like number one. But I like them for different reasons, like Hunter x Hunter.
Mm.
Like the friendship bond that they have is just so impactful. And then I don't know. I was thinking about, you said it was sad when Rengoku, or however you say his name,
Yeah.
died. I think did you find that more sad than when Naruto found out Jiraiya died?
Oh no, Jiraiya dying was way sadder.
Yeah, I was gonna say that for me was like heartbreaking when Naruto found out. I was just like, oh my gosh. But it makes that character so much more special.
Definitely. I think it's just because you were with him for so much longer, and there was so much, you could see so much father-son type thing between Jiraiya and Naruto. And there was
Yeah.
so much also like unsaid between, like, Naruto was always teasing Jiraiya, but it didn't seem like he quite ever told Jiraiya how much Jiraiya meant to him. And then it's like Jiraiya was taken before his time, and Naruto was like,
Yeah, it was crushing, man. Oh, I'm up to date with My Hero Academia, which has
oh,
been
okay.
great. Really enjoying it. And I've been watching Better Call Saul, which is from Breaking Bad. Saul is a character in that show, and it's been awesome. Really enjoying it. I really like him as a character. He's a very...
So is it like a spin-off series then?
Yeah, basically. Kind of like... In a similar sense, I guess, like Joey to Friends. Do you remember Joey had like his own spin-off? But actually good. I don't think Joey was actually a good show. I don't remember watching it, but...
Oh, that's amazing. How is My Hero Academia? Have you finished it, or is it like ongoing still?
I think this is its final season, but it's ongoing. So, yeah.
How do you rate it with, amongst animes at the moment?
Gosh, it is right, like, in the mix. I wouldn't put it in, like, probably my top 3. I think it's definitely in my top 10.
Okay.
And probably nearer to 5 than 10. But, yeah, sometimes it's hard with animes because the ones you've watched, I think you've seen them, like, every episode, and you haven't had to kind of wait for episodes, whereas My Hero is one I've had to wait. So it's been very slow that I've watched it. So I think you get a bit of a different experience when you watch an anime straight through versus having to wait for episodes. Like, I don't know, Attack on Titan was like over the course of, I don't know how many years, but like a long, long time. It might have been like 10 years or something. Whereas when you can watch it all the way through, you get a bit of a different experience. So yeah, it's hard to say, but no, it's good. And it gets better every season, which I can't say is the same for every anime.
And this is kind of not related to anime as such, but do you remember us talking about Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power?
Oh, yeah.
So they had a season 2 that came out, I think, last Christmas, I think. And season 2 is supposed to be really good as well. And they're going to have a season 3 as well. So if you are ever in the mood for something different after you've watched Saul, or I can't remember what you said.
Saul, yeah. Saul.
Saul. So after you've watched that and you've looking for something, I think you should go get yourself in Lord of the Rings mode.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is it's been so long since I've watched any of the Lord of the Rings, so I don't know if do I need to watch all of those again to like understand what's going on? Or could I dive right in?
I think personally, I think you could dive right in. It's really just totally up to you whether you'd want to refresh your memory or just go with it. I think you could just go straight into it.
Okay, cool. Should we get to questions?
Can I ask you one final question though? So you had a debate with Charlotte about cookie dough. Did you ever get to the bottom? Was there ever a decision?
Yeah, well, according to my story, more people agreed with me than didn't, but I will ask the audience here and you can comment. Essentially, I was arguing that I don't understand how cookie dough if it can't be made into a cookie, like baked, can be called cookie dough. Surely it's something else.
Yeah.
Whereas Charlotte was saying, but they have edible cookie dough, and that's something distinct to one you'd put in the oven and make into cookie dough. And this was all spawned because our local Lidl had these little pots of cookie dough, which Charlotte asked me to buy because they're vegan. And I bought them, and she was like, "Oh, they're not that great." And I was like, "Can you just bake them into cookies?" She was like, "It doesn't say you can." And I was like, "How's that cookie dough then?" And she was like, "Because this is just cookie dough. Like, you can get edible cookie dough." And I'm like, "What? If it can't be made into cookie, like that is the step before cookies is cookie dough. So if this is cookie dough, then it should be able to be made into cookies." Anyway, so she was like, "Yeah, this is like becoming a philosophical debate here." I was like, "They need to reword whatever this stuff is called. It's not cookie dough. It's like cookie tastes like cookie dough, but not cookie dough."
Yeah. Maybe it tasted bad because it wasn't actually cookie dough in the first place.
Oh, yeah, who knows? I was like, she was like, "Yeah, but." I can't remember what she said, but my thought was, you get like Ben and Jerry's cookie dough ice cream or cookie dough wherever you buy it from. In my head, you could melt all the ice cream, then get all the lumps of cookie dough, mash it together, and then bake it, and it should be able to be made into a cookie. If it can't, I challenge why it's called cookie dough.
I know. What is it if it's not cookie dough? Like, is it just, who knows? In theory, that should be possible. It should be true.
Yeah,
but
so I don't even know if...
You should test it one time.
Oh, God, no. That would be a waste of ice cream.
I know. Melt all the ice cream. It's like £5 for like a Ben and Jerry's or something. You'd end up spending like...
the last time I've had Ben and Jerry's. But we had better gelato when you came across.
That was
we'll have
so
to do
good.
another one soon, actually.
Yeah, definitely. But
questions?
No, I'm ready. Sorry?
Should we get to questions?
Let's do it.
Perfect. I'll ask you the first one then, Mike, from... Okay. Oh, this might be more for me. I don't know. Anyway, I'll just read it. Aaron Busby, your man, mentioned in the last improvement season, you would be open to being coached again for prep. Would you go back with Cliff Wilson or someone different? Okay, actually, it's a question for me. I haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest. I would be open to working with Cliff. It was a good experience, and I really liked working with Cliff. But if I was completely honest, I can't say I wouldn't be open to working with a different coach, potentially. But I haven't thought that long and hard about it. That's basically where I'm at with it. Shall I ask you the next question, Mike?
Yeah, go for it.
Unless you want to say anything to that.
Nope, cool. Nothing to add there.
Remy Saka asks, would you either go back in time to any age? Typical
of
Remy.
Course, Remy.
Let's get the question correct or interpret it correctly. Would you either go back in time to any age again with knowledge you have now, or go any time into the future but never go back?
I think I would go for the former option. I would go back in time to any age again with the knowledge I have now, and I'd probably go back to 21.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Any reason for that? Or it's just what came to mind?
I think it's the first thing that came to mind. I think going into the future, there's a lot of uncertainty, and whereas if you go back, you can kind of know where you were at that time. But if I've got the knowledge that I have now, then I could maybe do a few things differently. I'd obviously change myself a little bit, but yeah, I think that's what I might do potentially.
I had the complete opposite feeling. I definitely would want to go to the future. I don't want to go back in time. Been there, done that. And I'm happy enough with where I'm at right now. And I'm just excited to see what the future would be like. I have no idea, but there's a lot of like people talking about what the future might look like with AI and the advancements in that. Part of me thinks it might not even exist, like with like nuclear war or something. So yeah, I'd be interested to see the future.
That's a great way of looking at it, and it's just I've just fear of uncertainty, fear of failure.
Yeah, sounded like that.
I need to address some things. No, great answers. So next question. Lifting Lewis 5 asks, if someone doesn't know their normal steps and just goes into 20, 25, 30,000 steps in an attempt to push calories up, how would you handle this?
Don't know about you, Mike, but my immediate thought was I would say, don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'd really, really encourage them not to just massively increase their steps. Like anything in life, if you suddenly massively increase the dose of it, you are asking for problems. Even to the point of which I've had clients who have had high step counts and they've ended up getting like foot issues.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I know I've had clients who have got a treadmill desk for their home and then they've ended up using that a lot. And it's not quite the same as walking outside. And they got like, what's it called? What's it called when you get it rubs an area a lot and then you end up getting a blister. That's the one. Jeez. My brain sometimes, I'll figure out eventually. It's losing words. Yeah, it gets a blister. And yeah, anyway, so that's actually how I would handle it. I wouldn't want anyone to try and just suddenly increase. If someone doesn't know their normal steps, and this is what I always do with a new startup, is track your normal day-to-day activity. Sometimes if they're going into a diet phase, I say track with the intent to bring up a little bit, but that's just like, hey, maybe park a little bit further away from the supermarket, or maybe use the toilet downstairs at work versus the one right around the corner. But yeah, I'm never wanting someone to suddenly go into like, that's like, it's not quite the same, but it is similar to thinking, hey, someone doesn't know what volume they need, so they're just like, hey, I want to grow as much muscle as possible, I'm going to suddenly do 20, 30, 40 sets because literature shows more is better. It's like, always start with less.
Yeah, definitely. And my head also went down the nutrition route as well, in terms of, if you don't know what your maintenance is, just start tracking for a couple of weeks and see how that trends with your weight. Don't just suddenly, either eat a ton of calories or eat no calories whatsoever. Just track for a period of time and go from there.
Yeah, and you can have a educated guess. Like I have, and I'm sure you've had this, Mike, where people have signed up and they don't know their maintenance. You're not sure necessarily. And you look at, okay, what's their body weight, height, what's their activity levels? Now let's do like a basal metabolic rate calculation. Let's get a general activity factor calculation and let's ballpark it in around here. And then they start tracking and then you get an idea of where they are based off the change in body weight. You wouldn't suddenly go, oh, let's just assume. You wouldn't assume anything, especially with a surplus. That'd be risky. But you also wouldn't just be like, oh, let's just put you in a massive deficit because, hey, it's a deficit.
Exactly.
Similar problems.
Yeah, totally.
Nice. Next question is from _Manji Machine. In a bulk phase, is there merit to holding calories at maintenance for a bit, same as you would with diet fatigue in a deficit?
Unless that particular person was getting symptoms that you sometimes suffer with in terms of, GI distress or anything of that nature. But even then, if they are getting those symptoms, it might even be a sign that, hey, maybe we need to come out of a surplus for a bit to address those symptoms. But apart from anything specific, I don't. And again, if the other situation that crossed my mind there as well is, okay, is weight increasing too quickly? But then again, did we do something wrong earlier down the line and need to adjust it? Or again, maybe that would be the only, sorry, I'm rambling a bit because it's going through my head. The only scenario where in my head, I think it could be reasonable to go to maintenance was if, say, someone wasn't maybe adherent to their diet, or the surplus calories was not correct to begin with, and the rate of gain was exponential and totally, too fast than was expected, and they gained weight too quickly, but maybe they're just not ready to go back into a cut because of coming out of a contest season or something like that. Right, that might be an appropriate time just to stay at maintenance so that we don't let body comp get out of control, but also we're not going into a diet too soon before they're ready. That would be the only situation at the moment where I think that would be appropriate.
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it with that. Just when I think about the role of a diet break during a deficit is stressful. So you bring calories up to maintenance to try and reduce some of the stress and diet fatigue symptoms. In a surplus, it's not anywhere near as stressful on the body. And we always advise a very moderate surplus. So you'd never be, hopefully, as long as you're adherent, in an excessive surplus that could be stressful to the point where you feel like you're force feeding. And so I would say coming down to maintenance probably isn't going to be much respite, because it's like, hey, I just don't eat, don't know, a couple of slices of bread. It's like, it's probably not going to be all that impactful on a day to day. In terms of reducing like the stress of the surplus, which ultimately isn't that big of a stress anyway. So then the only reason you would maintain in that scenario is, like you said, if you are at a level of kind of body fat, or in a scenario where, yeah, if you're at a level of body fat, probably where dieting, where you might want to diet, or you wouldn't want to keep massing, but you're not in a position where dieting makes sense. So whether or not you're, again, post-show and you've got diet fatigue, or even you've got, I don't know, stressful time. So for example, I don't know, even now, like if you've got maybe your top end of mass where you wanted to be and you're a bit uncomfortable, be like, hey, it's November, December, holidays, I've got lots of socials, it's just not the right time for me to diet. You might just like, hey, just hold in around maintenance, train hard. There might be some recomp going on, especially at top end of mass when you've got a bit more body fat. So yeah, that's really the only time. So it's a very similar answer to you, really, Mike.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
Sweet.
So MW_Summit Coaching asks, would you approach a beginner lifter differently with regard to training program or protocols compared to an intermediate advanced lifter?
Good question. So the principles are the same. The principles apply to absolutely everyone, top to bottom. You just apply them differently. So the training program, protocols wouldn't look any different. Like, I would still want someone proximal to failure. I would still want to meet at least minimum effective volume in terms of training volume. I still pick exercises that suited that individual well. What I wouldn't do is have much bias unless they wanted it. If they just wanted equal growth, I'd just be like, hey, everything needs to grow. Let's focus on everything equally. Let's not have any particular bias within the program. And I would focus on more big compound lifts to just get better bang per buck versus any kind of specific isolated movements. Like, I'm probably not going to include an iliac lat pull down for someone who's very novice. I'm just going to get them to get really good at pull-ups, just neutral grip pull downs in general, that sort of thing, and focus on that. And so, yeah, I would segment their training less in terms of biasing certain muscles, just get them every time kind of looking for the most holistic growth from each movement, really double down on technique and proficiency, and then move into making sure they're working really, really hard, and get them enjoying the hell out of their training and growing everything really, really well. Whereas someone more intermediate advanced, I'd be more looking to bias training towards weaknesses that they need to balance out their physique. Again, assuming no particular preference, they just want a balanced physique. Or if they're a competitor, looking at areas they need to improve for their symmetry, muscularity, and just overall the judging criteria, and looking to bias areas a little bit more versus like those big compound lifts. I might be more often to use, like, I don't know, even a pre-fatigue or like an iliac pull down, and maybe even adjust ranges of motion to kind of specifically just bias a particular muscle versus other ones, depending on what we're trying to achieve there. But the fundamentals in terms of meeting thresholds for volume in terms of sufficient, and meeting intensity thresholds, training hard enough, they'd both be there. I'd just be a little bit more for the advanced intermediate lifter, finding trying to individualize the programming a little bit more to them. So in terms of weaknesses, but also then exercise selection, what exercise truly suit them, and executing them in a way that suits them, and then being more focused on their volume and making sure that it's in an appropriate range for them at that point, because broad strokes work so well for that bigger beginner lifter. And so I would be much less focused on the details, but the fundamentals would be my main focus. There's a lot to this question, though.
It is. And I think the only small thing that I would add, which is kind of similar to what you just said a second ago, is I would, with an advanced lifter, I'd kind of almost give them a bit more room for them to auto-regulate themselves. So if they were like, I increased the set, or I decreased the set, or I had to make a substitution, I'd be kind of cool with that, and I'd maybe give them a bit more of a choice, because I know that they are experienced and they are able to make those decisions. Whereas if it was a beginner, I'd probably do exactly what you said, but I would probably be a bit more directive. I want to educate them, to get them to start to think, to get them to ask themselves the type of questions that would allow them to make a good decision. But I would still be a tiny bit more autodactive with a beginner, because I knew that they won't have the experience to make those decisions in their head in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if I was to summarize, I guess I'd be like, for a beginner, it'd be more about how to move well in the gym and technical proficiency. Then as an intermediate, it'd be a case of using that foundation to then learn how to train very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then as someone more advanced, it's now, how do I move well and train hard for myself?
Yeah.
And find the recipe for myself. And yeah, like you said, tight leash and then loosening it as you go.
Yeah.
And educating.
Yeah, it's kind of the way that you said it just then. It's like, have you heard of the hero's journey?
Yeah.
It's like the student's journey, the bodybuilding student's journey, or
Yeah,
something like that.
for sure.
Very,
And I've definitely had that. I think we've even had that a little bit with our coaching relationship, where initially I'm kind of learning you and we're learning the best for you, and we're both doing that. And then you're learning your body better and better. And then I'm handing off the reins to you because now you know yourself better than I do. So
yeah.
it's,
I think the person, it will always vary a little bit with the person as well, because so for example, you mentioned about Eve and myself to a degree as well, is sometimes you can go, oh, you can have this broad range, but actually myself to a certain degree and Eve as well is like, no, just tell me, am I doing this or am I doing that? Sometimes certain people will prefer the coach to tell them what to do rather than give them too much reins.
yeah. And that was peak week, right? When I was talking about Eve, where she was just like,
Yeah.
I don't want to look at myself, just tell me what to do. And yeah, in those situations, you just have to know your athlete, because sometimes they just need you to make that decision. And even if that decision could be better if they had more input, if they're not confident about it or they don't know what they're looking for, there's no point trying to do that. But over time, I'd like to, even with Eve, if she does listen to this, I'd like to develop that skill set with her, because I think it'll make her better as it comes to it. And I think it's much easier as a coach just to direct, but if you don't get the best results that way long term with someone. So yeah, right. Is it me? Yeah, Barnaby.
But I think it's for you. Do you want me to ask
is
this?
it?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Barnaby B10 asks, Steve, how are you so stoic when it comes to food? For example, people intermittent fast to push calories up due to a fear of hunger. You don't have to do that.
So people intermittent fast to push calories up due to fear of hunger. Gosh. Yeah, I guess that's something that people carry over from a diet, right? Where they're like, hey, I'm going to fast until, I don't know, lunch. So I have this smaller eating window so I can have lots of food. And we've talked about it before, where it's a hangover from diets for us often is where like save calories for the evening. And then we'll suddenly be like, oh, I've got like a shed load of food to eat in the evening. And actually that's maybe not the best for sleep, especially in a scenario where you're in a surplus. So I think what has helped me is definitely experience. I haven't always been the best at that. And I definitely don't look at food as just functional. It's definitely got many more components to it. But I do think having that understanding that as a bodybuilder, food is mostly functional is a good mindset to have. And I do mostly look at it that way, but recognizing like I have a sweet tooth, like I want to try things. And I do also enjoy different foods, but I kind of actually put resources towards allowing for that. So in a simple way, it's like flexible dieting, 80-20, majority of your food wholesomely processed. I give myself that 20% allowance so that I can have a bit of what I fancy. I know there are some people that, I know Dave McConey, for example. You know Dave?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not personally, but
of course. You need to get on his podcast at some point, Brandon Gaines. I know we've discussed it before where he's like, I don't think it's quite as extreme as this, but he can't have like a small portion of like a dessert. He wants to have like a proper dessert. If he's going to have it, he's going to have it. I've just never had that mindset behind things. I'm like, I can just have a little bit and it's fine. I don't
Mm.
need to have more than that. But I do think experience helps with it. But I've never had a binge in my life, so I understand why people might binge, but don't have the personal experience to say this is I used to do this and now I do this.
Mm.
If anything, I've got more flexible with my food and eating, and allowed myself to have like higher days and lower days. But it fundamentally comes down to I mostly view my diet as a budget,
Mm-hmm.
and I spend wisely, just the same way I do like would with money, where sometimes I want to spend it on, I don't know, it's a piece of clothing that's expensive, but I make sure it's budgeted for within my long-term plan. So yeah, I think some people are just a bit more food driven than others, but I do think experience helps a lot with that, and having a foundation of good, solid habits also does too. And you have to give yourself a chance, and you only give yourself a chance if you have that good fundamental base in
Mm.
place. And then if you're still struggling, then it's like, okay, now you can say, hey, maybe I'm a bit more, don't know, food driven, and food reward is a bigger thing for me. And then you find approaches that suit you. But I think a lot of people find actually they could probably get to a similar place with food where it's like, hey, I can take it, I can leave it. It's not going to abandon me. It's just most people
Mm.
come into it with a bad relationship. Again, it's a broad question somehow. Like there's probably lots of avenues you could dive down.
Yeah, hugely. And I think just that's that's another reason why improvement seasons are really important, because one, if you have developed any habits that, hey, we don't want this to turn into a poor relationship, it's like, hey, we've got to unpack that a little bit and work on it. Or if that relationship with food isn't good, again, use the improvement season to work on that to get in a better place.
On that note, have you tried, Mike, the Lidl protein cheesecakes?
I've tried the tiramisu. I don't think I've tried the cheesecakes yet.
What did you think of the tiramisu?
I really liked it.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
liked it, yeah.
For me at least, cheesecakes trump the tiramisu big time.
Well, I haven't tried the cheesecake yet, so maybe I need to try the cheesecake to compare it to the tiramisu.
Yeah, yeah, for me anyway. They were on offer this part. I don't go to Lidl that often anymore, but I went there this past weekend because Charlotte was away and I had a bit more time. And yeah, they were on offer, so I was like, oh, I'll buy these cheesecakes. And I think it's my last one tonight. I think my last one is tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I will recommend, because at least in my Lidl, they're the chocolate cheesecake, or they're just the New York. For me, the classic New York cheesecake was just, and as ever, I'm a man of textures, so the texture
Yes.
for me is just very good.
I was gonna say, I didn't realize it was the classic New York. I was gonna say it was the vanilla cheesecake.
It is vanilla, I think.
So the vanilla cheesecake is better than the chocolate cheesecake.
Yeah, in this situation, I think so. Weirdly enough, I think it's the cheese-y taste. It's a little lemony, but I think it's the cheese in it that's kind of gives that soury tone. But yeah, I think it's classic New York vanilla cheesecake. I
There we
prefer it to
go.
the chocolate one. The chocolate one's also good, but actually the vanilla beats it.
Oh, there we go.
Can't
Amazing.
believe I've said this. I'm a hypocrite. No, nothing else on that. Actually,
All right.
the other food I want to try is a Marks and Spencer's have just released a peppermint chocolate chip cookie for like Christmas, and it just looks. I love like a mint chocolate. You like mint chocolate, don't you,
Yeah,
Mike?
yeah.
Big fan. So I want to try that. I also noticed all these different cookies coming out. Sainsbury's have a cornflake like cereal milk cookie, where it's like cornflakes, white chocolate in it.
Wow.
Just sounds ridiculously good.
What aisle is that in? Or is it in is it in the bakery section, or must be?
It'll be, yeah, I mean, I actually don't know, but, I do know. It'll be in the bakery section, of course, but I haven't seen them. I've only seen these on Instagram, by the way. It's not like I've been to M&S or Sainsbury's and seen them. Unfortunately, here, I've got Lidl close. Then there is a big Sainsbury's, but it's not close. And then there's a little Sainsbury's and a little Tesco, and they don't really stock like that sort of thing. They have just your basics and essentials, basically. So I never get any of the fun stuff.
Oh, man, do you know what? The food can vary from depending on your local shop. The food can vary immensely. So Sainsbury's might have a certain type of cookie, but you might just be unlucky with your local shop. It depends so much.
My issue with these things too, Mike, is often they sell like these cookies in a bag of 5. And then I'm like, well, the only way they're going to be good is if I have one every day. And that 5th and 4th one are probably past their best, right? Because
Yeah.
they're not vegan. So Charlotte wouldn't have one. And then I'm like, and a whole cookie, like I'll have maybe every other day I'd do it, but every day is
Yeah.
a fair bit. I'm like, can they freeze? And this is where you get people who end up eating the whole bag because they're like, oh, they won't be good. But random tangent, kind of a tangent. I don't know if you can relate to this, Mike, but I've seen people who, when they get an advent calendar, they just eat all of the chocolates in one
Really?
go. And this is where I'm like, there's zero temptation for me to do that. Like, I like having one a day. Like, I almost, like that's part of it.
The whole point of an advent calendar is you do one a day. Like, if they do that, they might as well just buy just a box of Quality Street or something. If they're just going to do that.
On that note, advent calendar, I saw advertised, Bear Bells protein bars.
Yes.
They've got I don't know if it's new this year and they haven't done it before, but they've got an advent calendar. And I normally am not that bothered by like protein bar advent calendars because I'm just like, I'll just buy the protein bars. Why would I buy an advent calendar? I do quite like the process of opening a door each day. But this one, I think at least half the bars, something along the lines of half the bars are like exclusive Christmas editions. So it's like peppermint or like a peppermint one, a gingerbread one, like all these different flavors. And then I was like, I could expense that on the business, couldn't I? Like that's tax deductible, right? And I could do it every day on my story, open a door and be like, this is the bar. And I could do. Like a cookie every day is a bit much for me, but a protein bar every day, one of the Bear Bells, it's got 20 grams of protein in there too, right? That could be a nice little treat. So you might see me on my stories every day opening my advent calendar.
Are they full protein bars then? Really? Wow.
The calendar itself costs close to like £50.
Oh, okay, right.
But that's 24 protein bars, right?
Yeah.
So
and if it's
some
tax
exclusives.
deductible,
yeah, exactly. That's the temptation. They also normally sell out.
I think if it's tax deductible, definitely do it. That would be such a fun Christmas thing. I'd love to see that. But do you know what you need to do when you do it on your story? You need to make it a bit entertainment value. So you need to go on the first day of Christmas.
Oh God,
the Bear
I can have Christmas music though.
Yeah,
this is one for you, Mike. You can sing. Clearly, it's something you like.
Be something.
2 more questions. Should we get?
Yeah, we can do this. Okay, so. Oh yeah, you asked me.
Dagan_MS asks, Steve, using me as an example, but we can say, Mike, with all your niggles right now, okay, why are you training around them instead of taking a deload? So we've kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
But long story short, like I can still train the muscles. It's just finding routes to train those. And if the areas aren't getting worse over time, then I see it as a win. Actually, I basically already answered it previously. Yeah. Like for me, it's the trade-off is worth continuing to just train. I have considered it though. I've considered just deloading legs or even just deloading quads. That is an option and I might go down that route. Especially if they get worse, then I definitely will more than likely do that.
But
I'll ask you the next one then.
Yes. Go on.
So Donald Ye asks, in your experiences, what's been the practical range of sets per muscle for hypertrophy for most intermediates? Thanks.
What's been the practical range of sets per muscle? I would, do you know what? Around 10, there or thereabouts. I've not had too many intermediates that have been above that. It's always around that sweet spot because I'm always quite hot on quality and getting them to feel their readiness, feel their stimulus. Often, sometimes it's a little bit below maybe, but yeah, around that mark. It's normally around 10, I would say.
Yeah. I think I can understand how you get to 10 for sure. It's interesting because I had actually someone ask me this on a Instagram question box that I put up, and they asked for like ways to calculate volume, like as if in a spreadsheet. And
Mm.
I used to count set volume, and I used to like divide it up, fractional sets, and distribute it across everything and make sure it was like, oh, I could see it week 1, week 2, and I'd actually put it into graphs so you could see it like going up over the weeks. I really, past week 1, don't really care, and it's just auto-regulated. It's like via week 1, I'm very confident we're at least meeting minimums, and then from there, like you said, hot on making sure someone's training with high levels of quality, which means training very hard. And I think most people aren't. I kind of come in swinging roundabouts with this. I used to think that a lot of people knew how to train hard, especially if they're aware of reps in reserve and they were kind of listening to this sort of content. But I think a lot of people actually don't, and they need to learn that skill set. I needed to. Like 5 years ago, the hard training he was doing is not the same sort of hard training I do now. It is a skill set that you develop. So anyway, that's normally what I'm focusing with intermediates on, is like you said, the quality aspect. And so starting closer to 10 or slightly below that actually for a lot of things, and then maybe adding a set here or there. And then from that base, it somewhat largely depends on the person. So a lot of the people that I work with, even as intermediates, are happy to see diminishing returns from the volume that they're doing. So if they can get more growth, but less growth with each additional set, they're happy to invest that, even though it's diminishing returns. So it ends up creeping maybe closer to 15 after a while. But certainly when I start with them, and if they haven't got the desire to see those diminishing returns, like they just want to grow and grow well, and they don't worry about, hey, I could grow better if I did a bit more, but it's not worth the time investment, or they haven't got the time, or we haven't got the training frequency or the split available to us, then we won't go up that amount. Or if they don't have the recoverability, quite often a lot of people have more things going on. I work with a lot of bodybuilders. This is very important to them. So that isn't always the case. So yeah, in my practical experience, I would probably say around that 10 mark is a, like I said, starting below that, maybe moving up to 15, in around the 10 for a lot of people. And I think people will be surprised to hear that. But it's like we said, we put a precedence on quality and absolutely ensuring that that's in place. And this is average. And as they get more advanced, I think it can creep up, but coming from a place of quality first.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? The other thing I was going to say is I don't count that as 10 direct sets. So for like arms, delts, areas where you're going to get a lot of fractional volume, or I don't know what word to use for that, but you're going to get some fractional sets basically from your compound lifts. I would include the kind of fractional sets there. So if I'm doing 10 sets for back, that's already 5 sets for arms, for biceps, say. And so it would be 5 additional sets on top of that. Like direct sets, if that makes sense. Is that the same way you were thinking about it?
No, I don't actually include fractional sets sometimes. I just do direct sets, and rightly or wrongly, yeah, that's something that I probably should do more of.
But in your answer, were you thinking in terms of practical range of sets per muscle? Were you thinking for those biceps, triceps, delts, were you thinking they were closer to 10 or closer to 15,
Lower.
say? Yeah.
No.
So I think you kind of
Lower.
were you're kind of doing the fractional sets without thinking about it that way. But yeah, that's fine. I think you're probably similar to me, where you're not. Actually, I don't know. You super like every week you're counting the set volume?
I have a table underneath every week of the volume, because I want to make sure it's like where I think it is, or I just like to have it there just to make sure, because I'm not good at having it in my head, so I just like to have it already pre-made. So it's there.
And I think I was that way, and then I just got comfortable with, I know how to, like I built so many programs out for so many people, and then we're auto-regulating it. And it ended up being like data for the sake of data, if you know what I mean. Like it was like, oh yeah, I should know my weekly volume. But like people ask me how many sets I'm doing, and I'm like, oh, I'd have to go through and count everything up, because I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't actually care. It's like the volume isn't what you need, it's the total stimulus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Was that the last question?
It was the last question.
Nice.
Well, hey.
Any closing thoughts, Mike?
I did have do you know what? I did have a closing thought, but it's just escaped me. One thing that you did just put in the hypertrophic time chamber is the Rascal Apparel is bringing out some new stock. Is that correct?
Oh, you've just done my own little promo. So, yeah, they've got some. People might know I can't remember what they're Anyway, they're a pair of shorts that were, I think they're the Apex bodybuilding shorts. And they had like the cheetah print and a variety of different like tiger print and other ones. And they're really, really nice. They're zip pockets. I think they're using those to inspire a new pair of dump covers, basically. And so I'm getting actually 3 pairs of those, which is really cool. So the material's a little bit different, but dump covers, as you know, Mike, there is not a more comfortable bottom training or otherwise. Like, they're just so comfortable. It's something about the thick waistband. It's just makes them very, very comfortable. And then obviously they're baggy and loose, and so they're great. And then they've got, the bat wings and the various kind of wing products they've got. They've got some new sleeveless wings, basically, but they are longer. So they're cropped a little bit, but they're not short cropped. So I think those aesthetically for me are like, that's what I wanted from the original Batwing. So I've got a couple of those coming, which I'm excited for. So, and they probably have a Black Friday sale. Well, I say probably. I know they have a Black Friday sale coming. Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But use my code STRONGER and you'll get 10% off on top of anything. And you'll be supporting me in a nice little way. And I appreciate it.
They look great. Like the purple leopard dump covers look great. And I'm so glad as well that they're longer, because again, the Batwing, it's just when you're, I don't know, unless you're lean, really lean in the mixed session. You're lean at the moment, but like again, I'm just a bit self-conscious sometimes with the Batwing.
My issue is twofold. It doesn't. I think it suits you better for sure. One being bald for some reason, it makes it look worse. I don't know what it is. But 2, because I have a really long torso, so inevitably, like for you, that it almost crops to the dump cover. So like it's only if you're in a position that it would show off like your midsection. But for me, it doesn't. So like I'm showing off midriff without even trying, just because of my damn long torso. But I don't know if I love the hood wings. So they're basically, I think, a very similar cut to these new vests, but they're longer as well. And they're just the perfect, like, what's it called? Pump cover, as it were. So for winter and everything. So anyway, yeah. Rascal doing some great stuff. And as a reminder, if you want to ask any questions or see me talking about Rascal stuff, join the Hypertrophic Time Chamber, my broadcast group. This is where we're getting all these questions on Instagram. And if you're interested in coaching and you want to ask such questions, we love educating our clients along the way. And we never say like, hey, screw you, just do what I say. Only when I'm tired. Otherwise, no, we'll always explain and give you direction so that you can leave coaching eventually and know how to apply things yourself. Not just competitors, photo shoots, or just general fat loss, muscle gain. And I'm excited finally for our November Christmas get together. Not that we don't have the cut confirmed yet. I need to chase Steve again, the owner, and hopefully we'll get that. But I can't wait for that. That's always like my favorite time of the year. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's just so nice to connect in person with people. Like I know I've said this before, but just every time just to see, not only to connect with them, but to see different clients connect with each other. It's just such a cool, it is like, as cheesy as it sounds, it is just that community feeling.
I know we've got at least 2 people coming from Ireland. We've got Sharon, we've got Darren. I believe they're both from Ireland. And
got Aaron.
Aaron, where's he based? He's traveling
Yorkshire.
far?
He's Yorkshire. Up north. And
we've got people coming from Germany, all over. So there's definitely people coming a long way for this. So it's just so much fun. Like I said, I always come away from it being like, man, this is so, so cool. So if there are any clients listening who can make it, I know I literally can picture people and they know I'm talking to them, who they live like in the States and they listen to every week and they can't justify coming this far for it, which I understand, but maybe in future. But if you're in Europe or if you're in the UK and you're available, you should definitely be coming. But yeah.
No excuses. No excuses, guys. Get your ass over here.
And with that, we'll catch you next week.
See you later, guys. Bye.